quickly, I'm going to share with you guys what I call my pharmacist value ladder. And it will just be like your cheat code and your shortcut to getting to those 6 and 7 figures opportunities faster. You don't have to wait 40 years to do it. You don't have to wait until, imagine graduating school at 24, 25 and waiting until 65 to learn this. And then you're going to beat up yourself and say, if I had known, right? I'm going to share this real quickly with you. This might be very new for some of you guys. And this is what I call my pharmacist values ladder. And I think it will make sense to your mind when I share this. So at the bottom of this values ladder is where we have a set of people called implementers. Now, implementers are those people who actually use their muscles to make money. So if we're thinking about pharmacy, we're thinking about entry-level pharmacists, pharmacists who are just leaving school. It could be a new grad, it could be an international grad, but it could also be a pharmacist who's been practicing for many years. And so those pharmacists are in the pharmacy and they're doing 10, 15, 20 jobs. That's what leads to burnout, right? You're answering the phone, you're filling the prescription, you're taking out the drugs, all the stuff. Like you might not necessarily be packing, but if your assistant isn't there, somebody comes for pickup, you'll have to do that, right? So implementers they're like bottom feeders. They get the lowest salary, about $35 per hour rate. And I'm like, what in the what is this? Implementers use their muscles to make money and there's a cap on their salaries. The max they might make is $100,000. So is it safe for us to call pharmacist implementers, seeing that they're paying us about $100,000 or less? Or they're offering us 100,000? Implementers use their muscles to make money. The lies that implementers believe is that if they work harder, they're going to get paid more. The lies that many pharmacists believe is that if I do more overtime, if I work harder, my employer is going to recognize my value and finally give me a 3% raise when inflation itself is at 8%, right? It doesn't make sense. It doesn't add up. And it doesn't matter how hard you work. You only have 24 hours in a day. You only have 168 hours in a week. You're going to get into burnout mode no matter what you try because you're working so hard, using up your muscles, thinking that it's going to make you more money and your salaries is actually capped. And then above the implementers, we have the unifiers. Now, the unifiers are the ones who keep the organization running. They keep people unified. They're like managers and middle managers. So think about the pharmacy manager who's doing the shift and he's telling you which day you can get off from work, which day you have to come in when you cannot get pharmacy vacation. By the way, guys, most pharmacies in Canada don't give holidays like Christmas holidays because it's flu season. Another reason to reclaim your license so you can say, I'm going for Thanksgiving in the States, like I'm going for Thanksgiving with my family. Everybody lives in the States or Jamaica or somewhere. I'm the only person in Canada still to date since COVID 2020, right? So when you're a unifier, you try to keep people organized, you try to get them to work together and you try to manage them. But the truth is that people really can't be managed. We have no control over what people say, do, think. We can only hope that they will be unified. But then you're a pharmacy manager and you get a little bit more than the implementers and you get a lot of headache and stress. And when nobody shows up to work, you have to go fill the job. So managers, supervisors. And then immunifiers, sorry, could also be those people who think that, oh, I have a B farm, so now I need to go get a Farm D. I have a B farm, so I need to get an MBA. Or you have a Farm D, which is a terminal degree, and there's no higher degree than a doctor of pharmacy degree. So you think like, okay, no, I need to become a smoking cessation specialist. I need to become a certified diabetic educator, which is the norm. I see a lot of people doing it. They're like, oh, no, I need to go do respiratory, treatment. And nothing is wrong if you want to become a specialist in a certain area. But if you're going to become a specialist, you have to be thinking about opening your own practice where you provide those services. Otherwise, becoming a specialist will only bump your pay by a little bit. And the lies that these implementers believe, oh, if I have more credentials behind my name, if I have extra letters and alphabet, then the corporation is just going to suddenly see that I'm good, I'm worthy, and they're going to bump my pay up by far. They won't. The truth is that they won't. And the lies that unifiers believe is that more education equal more money. And I am living proof, having just my little B farm, my bachelor of pharmacy, that I'm making way more than people of Pharm D, a doctor of pharmacy, and have all these degrees and accolades behind their names, right? Unifiers, their salaries are capped. They probably would make up to like about, if they're really that valued by the company, anywhere between 100,000 to maybe 250, 300K. It depends, Rarely they go above that because pharmacists at 100K are in the top 10 percentile of income earners in Canada. It's hard to believe, but guys, I'm sharing all the information I have. I'm not holding anything back. And then above the unifiers, we have the communicators. So these are the people like myself who go out in the marketplace and we communicate our value and we attract a high ticket, high paying pharmacy owner who's willing to pay for our accommodation, give us a car to drive around in the meantime, pay us very well because we can communicate our value. And these could also include lecturers and people who are medical and sales rep. They're selling the devices, they're speaking on behalf of the company, they're marketers, they're persons who are influencers, like, healthcare influencers work for healthcare companies that sell skincare products, health content creators, anybody who's actually using their gift and their skill of communication. And so back to communicators, they're there and they're getting these sponsorship and the brand deals and they're getting to speak at these CEs and the companies are seeing them as thought leaders in their industry. And so they'll pay you to speak at CEs, they'll pay you to advertise for their products, that sort of thing. Pop quiz. Is it easier to make money with your mouth or your muscle? Mouth or muscle? The implementers use the muscle and the communicators use their mouth, but the communicator is getting more money. Is it easier to use your muscle to make money? Let me see it in the chat. Is it easier to use your muscle to make money? Right. It's easier to use your mouth, right? So the next level on this values ladder is the innovators, the imaginators, the pharmacy owners, the business owners. These people are using their God-given creativity to make money. Dream big, think big thoughts. They're no different from the Elon Musk and the Jeff Bezos and the Bill Gates, and those people are just using their minds. Remember, I told you earlier, money is made in the mind long before it is made in your bank account. So if these people are imagining, there's no ceiling, there's no cap on how much money they can command in the marketplace, right? And with healthcare being one of the most lucrative industry, and the baby boomers are going into the nursing homes. I had a patient last year was on like 20 something medication. I was so upset. I was like, this is not justified. But I wasn't a deep prescriber, so I couldn't take them off some of those meds. But you can understand that some of the richest companies are big pharma companies. They sell drugs. The Pfizer and the Novartis and all those people with the vaccine and GSK. You know them. You're a pharmacist. You know them. Those people are out there thinking things, creating things, opening up. Those are the people who are making most of the money. And guess who's doing the work? The implementers and the unifiers and the communicators. But did you know that that was not what God wanted for you? He actually wanted you to use your own creativity. It says that we're made in the image and likeness of God, and He's a creator, and He created us, and He deposited His creativity in us. So here's how you're going to move from an implementer to a communicator and or imaginator is that you need to fire yourself from your job, and you need to hire yourself as an independent contractor, as a consultant, and communicate your value in the marketplace so that you can command those high, 5-figure contracts. Some employers are not really looking for that. They just want to know you have a license. They don't even care if you graduated first class, second class, no class. They don't care. They just need somebody to be in the pharmacy because in Canada, unlike many other countries, you have to be a pharmacist to own a pharmacy. Not even the big corporations that you see out there, they cannot license or register a pharmacy. That's why they'll tell you, oh, I'll give you a bonus. I'll pay you a couple $100 or whatever. They will tell you that to sweeten the deal because they need to use your license. You cannot, under the Pharmacy Drug and Regulations Act, you cannot open a pharmacy in Canada if you're not a pharmacist. In Jamaica, where we're from, any man can own a pharmacy and then they'll employ somebody to license the pharmacy. In Canada, you need to be a pharmacist to open a pharmacy. And if you're going to partner with someone, you have to have at least a 51% share. So if your license is that powerful, why would you give it away? Here's your takeaway. And I hope this actually resonates with you. In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. God, the Creator, in the beginning, He's at the top level. See, there's imaginator. God is a creative. He just like imagined things and it happened. And then God spoke, and the Word became life, and the Word became flesh, right? And then from that, remember the exercise I took you through earlier where I said on day one, He was like, okay, I'm creating day and night. And day two, I'm going to be creating this. And then on day five, He created, I think He did like the birds and the bees. And day six, He's like, I want to create man. And on day seven, He rested. God spoke. So He's the creator. He's creative. He spoke it into being, and then He unified. And He's like, I don't want the people to be confused. So let me call today Sunday, tomorrow is Monday. He unified the days. He organized a system. And then He implemented. And He's like, this is good work. If we're made in the image and likeness of God, we ought to be thinking like creatives. And this is your cheat code. You can move from being an implementer pharmacist at level 1 to being a communicator pharmacist. That's how you can double and triple your income. So anyway, guys, I wanted to share that. I'm glad, yes, this is amazing and also an eye opener. That's amazing. If you wanna share any other takeaway, we're gonna move into the VIP session. You guys can stay here. Those persons who don't, basically almost everybody on here is in VIP, except maybe 2 people. Those people believing us. But thank you so much for sharing that, Zainab. In the beginning, I shared that we remember only about 10% of the things we see, and about 50% of things we hear, and about 75% of the things we interact with. And then if we teach it to others, then we retain that over 90%. So if you want to share your takeaway, feel free to unmute before we get into the VIP, or we'll ask persons to just like ask their questions. So I appreciate you guys for coming. I had a poem to share with you, but we're over time, so I'll leave that for next class, and I'm looking forward to seeing you all there. Does anybody have any takeaways, anything that really resonated with you guys? Like, this is the end of our masterclass. It was just my absolute pleasure sharing with you guys. And as Rumi said, I love to like use Rumi's quote. He said, when setting out on a journey, do not seek advice from someone who never left home. Ladies and gentlemen, it has been my pleasure to serve you, and I look forward to speaking to you on the call. If you want to give a quick takeaway before we transition into our VIP segment, feel free to do so right now.